Over the last week or so, we have talked about the mass layoffs initiated by President Trump and Elon Musk's Doge team. Initially, those conversations obviously focused on DC proper. We talked about what might be happening in the real estate arena. However, it was pointed out to me by some excellent comments that the federal or Fed employees really are much more diverse in location. So I've done some digging over the last 48 hours to really figure out what areas of the country might be most impacted by these mass layoffs. And again, remember, folks, when I think about these mass layoffs in relative order of housing, demand turns off quick, right? Demand turns off in an instant. If you are shopping for a home, and you or your significant other is a spouse of the Fed or the Fed, yeah, and you're like, hey, we might lose our job, you're not going to be signing that purchase contract. So again, demand turns off in an instant. Supply will come on a lot slower. So all of those things that we have thought will certainly play out. But again, where are federal employees? So I don't know if you know this, but it is estimated that there are 2.4 million federal workers. I was shocked by that. 2.4 million means the federal workers make up about 1.87, let's call it 2% between friends of all employees. So of all work of the workforce. It appears that roughly 20% of them are in the greater DC area, right? Again, Washington, DC, if you've ever been there, is actually a pretty small footprint. It's not a large area. But when you step back from that, it looks like Maryland has 4.6%, with Virginia coming in at 3.27. Now, obviously, Maryland and Virginia are big states. You are going to have a disproportionate amount of those employees close to the borders. It won't be evenly spread. But again, there will be an impact. And again, if you want to study real estate, I think there are two things or two eras that you could study to figure out what will be the impact in DC or DC area. One is when the military pulled out of Southern California, specifically San Diego. You could also check out the oil bust in Texas. Again, this will be local. This will likely be problematic. It will likely play out for years. It will also likely provide great opportunities if you are willing to do the work, if you are patient, and if you can find that truly motivated seller. But remember, demand turns off first. Supply will take time, especially if folks are given an 8-month severance. There is very little, if any, financial pressure if you are not asked to work but paid for the next 8 months. So let's get into it. We're going to talk about the week ahead. There are lots of important things, especially happening on Friday. Let's get into it. On Tuesday, we will get more and more Fed speeches. We have 3 Fed speeches on Tuesday. We will get the Case-Shiller home price, but again, that's for December. It is interesting for guys like me, maybe for Lance Lambert, who geek out on charts. But let's be clear, we're basically in March, and we're talking about December. It is what it is. You will also get consumer confidence. What is going on with the consumer? Wednesday, we will get new home sales. And we have seen the new home builders get wrecked over the last couple of weeks. We had, I think it was Toll Brothers, come in with disappointing results and the like. So new home sales, we will see what's what, followed by one Fed speech again on Wednesday. Thursday, we will get the all-important weekly jobless claims. Again, are we still bouncing around the 220 level? We've been there for 6 months or so. We will get pending home sales, just how bad was February, and we will get five Fed speeches. And then Friday, folks, PCE. Remember, earlier this month, we got CPI, which was all kind of bad. We got PPI, which was basically all kinds of bad. But we were told we were told that the inputs for PCE were actually positive and not to believe the hype. Well, we are set up for what could be an interesting day. So again, what is happening inside PCE? This is what happened last time, and these are the expectations. PCE headline last time was 2.6. It is expected to fall all the way to 2.4. PCE core, the Fed has told us repeatedly, that is the most important number they follow. PCE core was 2.8. It is expected to be 2.6. So those are relatively large drops. We are not talking a single digit. We are talking 0.2. If the market is disappointed, and perhaps it could be disappointed by only falling 0.1, we could be in for a rude awakening. And heaven forbid, PCE is flat. Yeah, that would not be good. And then to close out Friday, we do get one further Fed speech. I do want to talk about the consumer sentiment that came out on Friday. It was an ugly, ugly, ugly number. It fell 10% in a month. The 5-year inflation outlook actually jumped to 3.5%. That is the highest reading since 1995. Now, we got to talk about that. There has been a lot of talk of tariffs. And I don't think it's unreasonable to say that the average American doesn't have the interest in digging into what is really going on with tariffs. Is it happening? Is it not happening? All they hear is tariffs. Tariffs equal tax. Tax equals inflation. Bad. Now, again, this is consumer expectation or consumer sentiment. So again, will this change? Certainly could, right? If the tariffs don't come to be, if there's not this mass, Canada, Mexico, China, whatever, it could all change. But what I found very, very interesting is a trend has stopped working. Anytime a trend, certainly a trend that's been going on for 2 years, stops working, it should catch your attention. Certainly caught mine. Now, what am I talking about? For the last 18 months, it might be 2 years, as inflation expectations went up, interest rates went up. It's really been that simple. That changed on Friday. We got a report that said inflation expectations over the next 5 years have been the highest since 1995, and rates went down. The 10-year went down, and down considerably. Now, we have to ask ourselves why. Well, it might be a sign that the belief that the economy is falling apart is finally taking hold. Is the multi-year recession call finally happening? Don't know. Is there a thought that the Fed may cut more than once? Yes. In fact, on Friday, the odds of the Fed rate cut in 2025 jumped from 1 to somewhere between 2 and 3. So there are a lot of cross currents going on in the market right now. Something else that came out on Friday that we touched slightly on in the Friday financial wrap-up with Ty was existing home sales. Existing home sales came down. They were down roughly 5%. They did not fall as much as I had expected. I had expected something with a 3 handle. We instead got 4.08. So I was wrong about existing home sales. We will see where that goes in February, which I think will be worse, but more on that in a couple of weeks. So again, existing home sales disappointed to the downside, just not as ugly as I had thought. Let's congratulate somebody getting their first deal. Yes, folks, we call these golden tickets. I want to congratulate Paul. Paul, congratulations to you and your wife for getting your first deal. Again, your card will go out in the mail. Folks, if you follow the channel and I've helped you in any way get your first deal, let me know. I'll send you a golden ticket. If you get more than one deal, I'll send you all the black cards you want. So again, Paul, congratulations. Let's talk about Warren Buffett. I don't know if you saw it, but Warren Buffett reported earnings for Berkshire Hathaway on Saturday. And what I took away from it is he got a lot of cash. Warren Buffett, a.k.a. Berkshire Hathaway, is sitting on $334 billion in cash. Folks, that's 1/3 of a trillion. 1/3 of a trillion dollars in cash. Good old Uncle Warren, I suspect, is looking to make a couple of final big moves before he completes his picture, his painting of Berkshire Hathaway. That's a lot of cash. That is a lot of cash. Other things I noted in Berkshire Hathaway, 302% jump in insurance underwriting, investment income up 50%. And also, surprisingly, Berkshire Hathaway has 189 operating businesses. I honestly had no idea Warren Buffett, a.k.a. Berkshire Hathaway, had put together 189 operating businesses. That is wild. 53% of them reported decline in earnings. More than half had declining earnings. After Friday's collapse in rates, I do want to let you know that I could be wrong about a call that I felt really good about. You probably have heard me talk about the last 8 weeks repeatedly that I think 7% mortgage rates will be the average for 2025. And I am not changing my call. I'm not changing my call. I just noticed that with the change in behavior, right? Inflation expectations up, rates down, that something could be going on behind the scenes that I don't see or don't see yet. And I could be wrong. I'm not changing my call, but I do like to acknowledge when I see the deck chairs change, and I'm not sure I understand what's going on. Stephen Cohen is out talking about tariffs and DOGE cuts negatively affecting the economy. Steve Cohen, generally speaking, is a bullish investor. He has turned bearish. He says tariffs are a tax and spending cuts drain the economy. He says a significant correction would not surprise him. Let's talk about some earnings next week, which will tell us what's going on with the consumer. We got Domino's Pizza on Monday. What is going on with the consumer? Tuesday, we get Home Depot. What's going on with real estate and Planet Fitness? Wednesday, we will get Lowe's and NVIDIA. Wow, can you imagine the AI trade if NVIDIA just matches versus let alone misses? Then on Thursday, we will get Dell and Norwegian Cruise Line. What is going on with travel and experience? I do want to congratulate everybody who is joining school. I see a lot of people who went to the ORANT event in Vegas joining school. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Specifically in the last day or so, Tim and George have joined. So make sure you introduce yourself. Make sure you respond. Get to level 2, level 3. Unlock all of those thousands of dollars in goodies. And I do want to shout out, I saw a post inside school. Lots of people are talking about their experience, but one comment caught me. I believe it was from Caroline. Caroline said she joined school to get her mojo back. Folks, we are building something special here. Hopefully you got a taste of it every day on this channel. Hopefully you have seen some of the videos about our event. But school is where it all comes together. It is that touch point. It is that weekly, let me get around my people. Let me understand what my people, my tribe are doing. Shout out Frank. We're going to keep showing up. If you need your tribe, if you need your people, join. If you don't like it, leave. It's okay. It's 67 cents a day. It's worth the effort. But somebody I want to shout out, somebody who actually won a belt, somebody who won an award. I want to shout out Mark, the financial firefighter. Guys, do me a favor. Mark, the financial firefighter, on his YouTube channel has done 3 live streams in the last week or so, talking directly with people that were at the event. If you want to know anything about my community, go watch those live streams, people just talking about their experience, good, bad, and different. And I want to shout out Mark for arranging and scheduling those. You got to remember Mark's in Hawaii, so he's doing these at odd hours and big time differences. Let's try to get Mark over 800 subs today. I think he's at 787 or 788, something like that. So let's get 12 of you to go to Mark. Just go to Financial Firefighter right now, subscribe, show him some love, and we will get him to 1,000, hopefully in the next 30 days or so. Let's talk about some Fed speak, and we will wrap up today's daily financial news. We got Fed President Bostic out there talking about uncertainty calls for caution and humility in policymaking. Folks, higher for longer. Former Fed President Loretta Mester says there is no compelling reason to cut rates. And followed up with Mark Zandi, chief economist. There is a scant chance for the Fed to cut rates. Folks, again, I'm on record, for a long time talking about no cuts in 25. Feeling good about that. We will close it out with Fed President Goolsbee. Monetary policy should be separate from the administration. I think that makes sense. Substantial amount of work to get to 2%. You bet your butt there is. And then PCE, not likely to be as sobering as CPI. Fed President Goolsbee, all I got to say is I hope you're right. Again, we talked about PCE expected to have a massive drop of 0.2, both in headline and core. If we don't get those, it's going to be ugly. All righty, folks. Like, subscribe, comment. Please join school if you want to get in your community. Again, a lot of you don't have friends or family that do this investing thing. If you're just starting out, join. If you got 1 or 2 and you're in the first 5 years suck, join. If you want to get your mojo back, be around people doing it, like Caroline, just join. You will have a good time. Take care of yourself. Have fun. Don't forget, go subscribe to Financial Firefighter and watch those live streams. Take care. Later.